This brings me to my first guest speaker, Moletsane Mophethe, an innovator who is not new to the Isle network and the water sector. Moletsane's journey has included developing the Floc-Opex recovery solution and working within water and sustainability markets. We gave him a call. Now that the technology works, what has been keeping him up at night? We wanted to know about the lessons he has learned in de-risking and building his business. Moletsane, welcome back to the Water Action Platform. You were with us previously and you shared quite a bit on your technology development journey. And why don't you now just remind us of who you are and what you do?
Sure. Hi, Chantal. Thanks for having me. So as you've mentioned, I'm Moletsane. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Mop Tech Industries, and we focus on sustainable solutions within the water, wastewater, and environmental sectors. So we've developed a technology called the Floc-Opex Recovery Process, or FOR, and it's essentially a resource recovery process that is aimed at the potable water treatment industry. There we're looking to recover and recycle metal-based coagulants from water treatment residuals in order to lower the operational costs of these utilities, reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions, and more importantly, reduce the large volumes of sludge that would otherwise report to landfill sites and water bodies. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell in terms of the technology we've been developing.
Yeah, and you've been really busy since we spoke to you last. I mean, you've been part of the Isles Water Innovation Living Labs. So tell us about your journey since then. What have you been up to and who have you been networking with?
Okay, no, happy to. Yeah, Will was fantastic. It was actually the first accelerator program that we've been involved in. So there we got a lot of groundwork and tools in terms of pitching, in terms of understanding business development, teams, and a lot of marketing. Since then, we've had a bit of, I suppose, luck, because we've had some interest from industries that we wouldn't have otherwise thought would be interested in our technology. So our sort of focus was really water utilities as well as mines. But more recently, we've had some inroads in Italy with an oil and gas company, and there it's been quite fascinating. Their interest has been around their water treatment operations from their drilling, and they're looking to recover and recycle some of the chemicals they use for their water treatment there. We've also had a bit of traction in the UK with some of the water utilities there, so we're looking to explore further synergies. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe just to touch on your point in terms of Will and what we've been doing, part of that has also been joining other accelerator programs, two specifically that we've been involved in this year. And there really we've been focusing at doing three things. One is really building our networks and our support system. The second is access to strategic clients as well as strategic investors, but also hopefully looking for a pot of money at the end in order to help us further develop our technology.
Yes, as every entrepreneur does. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
So now I've spent a lot of time working with entrepreneurs and tech developers, and often I've asked them the question, what is the hardest part of the journey? And they say the technology development is actually easier because, we're the experts. But when we get into market, that is the most challenging part of it. So tell us a bit about this journey of yours, but also, what have been some of the market adoption barriers that you have had to deal with thus far?
Yeah, no, I think that's quite true. And perhaps to touch on and latch onto that technology part, a big lesson that I've sort of consistently started learning is understanding the difference between technology development and business development. As entrepreneurs who are quite technical in our innovation, whether you're a scientist or engineer, really our focus is on our product. And there we're looking at, building, measuring, learning, iterating until we have this perfect solution and we can finally take it to market. But I've also realized that there's another side of the pie or the puzzle, and that's really building your business. And building that business speaks a lot to one of the challenges which we have in the industry as young innovators, and that's really de-risking your technology and de-risking your business. And I've heard that word over and over and over and over again, de-risking. And yeah, so there are two types. You de-risk your technology by, taking it up the technology readiness level, lab scale, piloting, and finally commercializing. And that's really to help clients as well as investors have more faith in that the technology can work. But on the other side is the business. You can have a technology that works, but now the questions are, do you have the competency to be able to, roll out this at commercialization? Is this sustainable? As a client, can I rely on you? Can I rely on your technology? And whether it's your operating and maintenance or your team, if I give you money, will you just be gone and disappear in the next few months? So I think the de-risking part, as well as understanding the business and the product and growing those together have been quite an eye-opener and a challenge over the past few years.
Now, would you take this journey again, knowing what you know?
Yes, I would. I suppose, hindsight.
No.
It's 2020. No. I think I would do things a bit more differently. I think I would take feedback more constructively. When you're starting off, sometimes you view feedback as criticism and you don't really interrogate some of the things that are being said. And, looking back, that sort of sets you back, whether it's a few months or a few weeks in terms of your development journey. And I think that's one of the things that I've done different or do different if I was to take this journey again.
Thank you. Now, your insights are extremely interesting, I think, especially for our other tech developers and entrepreneurs looking to move into middle-income countries, open up that market space, and really battling with that innovation adoption and tech adoption. So, Moletsane, always good to catch up with you on your progress, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.